So in honor of our Zoom podcast recording, I of course had to have a mango before we had got started because I knew it was important.
No, it definitely is. Sorry to say though, I haven't had any mangoes this week. I feel like I'm not living up to my brand. I feel like I'm cheating on my brand. No mangoes for the whole week. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I gotta buy like double amount of mangoes this weekend to make up for it.
You need like 14 to like reposition from last week or this week.
Yeah, I gotta make up for lost time on mango production. So I gotta be like two mangoes a day now for
Yeah.
for next 7 days.
Yep. Yep. At least. At least. This is awesome, man. I'm glad to have you on the show. You're fun to talk with. And I think one thing that really stuck out to me was just your entrepreneurial journey. Like, I really think that the way you took action was pretty cool. And I really appreciate you sharing and being so honest and upfront about, like, oh, yeah, I did this, I did this, I did this, because I know not everyone's like that, but you were. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've definitely over the years I realized that my story is mine and I should tell my story. It's what makes me unique and interesting, and why not? A lot of people like hide their stories and don't tell their story, don't talk about their personal brand and what they've been through. And over the past, I think, year and a half, I've been really going through the journey of learning more about what personal branding is and what that personal brand is for me. And part of that is just telling my story and what it's all about and reflecting on it and realizing, huh, I actually have something to say that's actually interesting. People may want to listen to it. And yeah, I think that all started really for me back in November of last year. I did a fireside chat where I was one of the keynote speakers there, and we had like
Oh,
and other people, and they asked me to come and talk, and I was like, yeah, why not? And then as I was talking and doing it, it just came to me. I'm actually an introvert, but I don't know. I just woke up that day and I was like, I'm gonna be an extrovert, and I was, and I talked in front of a large crowd, and everybody was like just ears open listening, and then I was like,
um,
okay. You know what? I actually have some cool things to say. People are interested, and after that was done, and we're all just like networking. Everybody just was lining up to try and talk to me, and I was like, okay, all
uh,
right. I guess I said something that people like.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm trying to envision this. Like, where were you? Like, what state?
Oh no, that was it was more of like kind of like a conference where they literally like invited me to be one of the keynote speakers. So it was a group. There was three of us on the stage, entrepreneurs, and they all had us just talk about our experiences and things like that. So I was just one of the ones that they selected to be part of that, and that was the first time ever doing something like that
That's
specifically. So I was like, okay, let's give it a try, see what the exposure would be like, see what it's all about. I'm really trying to push my business and be out there and push my personal brand. So I was like, let's do it. And unfortunately, I haven't done any more since that. There's been a big gap, and then here we are today doing something with you. So there's
nice.
been a gap. I definitely hope after this
Yeah.
we can fill that gap into some more cool things, more podcasts, more cool stuff. Because yeah, I love to do more podcasts. I love to be on these things, just talk my story. I think it's fun, interesting, and people learn from it, and I
Yeah.
learn from them too. And yeah, so.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I would definitely recommend connecting with Michael Hamoon. He has a lot of you might have already, but just reconnect with that guy. He's phenomenal in terms of podcasts that he's aware of and knows about. And overall, he's just a good person to have on your side.
Yeah, from you talking from Dynamic Hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was on a call with him an hour and a half ago.
Really? So cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. We were actually talking business. So I was actually thinking about using them for some of my website projects. We're talking about how we can kind of collaborate on that kind of stuff. So
So
I think
cool.
me I might be doing that more in the future. I have a project I some that's coming up that I might could use his help with. So he already kind of did what he did, threw me a little proposal site that I can share with the clients. So I was like, yeah, let's see what they say. So I'm looking forward to getting their feedback and see if they're interested in working with us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well
Mhm.
done, man. I like that. I like that. That's cool. I'm curious for you, like, actually, I wanted to ask one question. Like, how big was this group of people that you're talking to? Was it like 1,000 people, 2,000 people?
Oh no, it wasn't that big. I think in
Okay.
overall, it was in a room, and I think overall in the room maybe there was like 70 people in there.
Oh, that's great.
Nothing,
That's a
yeah,
lot.
nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. And I think an event would have the space itself was bigger, so I think the space could probably hold like 100 people, 120 people, but
Okay.
not everybody showed up. So
Sure.
yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Cool.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing that. I think
Yeah.
that's a great number of people all live sitting there in person. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, if you asked me to do something like that 5 years ago, I would have said no in the blink of an
Really?
eye. Yeah, because I would have been too shy and too nervous. I would have got in my head and I would just be like stumbling on my words and just be too scared to do it. I would just be shy about it, right? Um, but nowadays, no. Nowadays, I can jump in front of a camera, video chat like this. I can jump in front of a group of people and talk. It doesn't really matter anymore. I kind of overcame that and just realized, you know what? I am who I am. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you got to overcome that stuff. Once you overcome that, even introverts can become extroverts.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's cool, man. That's cool. And for you, like, what does it mean to like how did you make that transition from being extrovert, introvert to extrovert? Was it just through experience alone, or was there something that clicked for you at some point that said, okay, now I'm transitioned over?
Um, I think the main thing is I think I was at a event, a party, I guess my friend threw for me. And I think I was just sitting there chilling with them and then we were talking about something and then it just kind of made me realize like most of my life I've been really in my head
Hmm.
about a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
overthink a lot of things and that would intentionally hold me back.
Mm.
And that overthinking made me really shy. No, I'm not saying that I'm not shy, but I think now I'm more selectively shy, where I'll assess somebody, assess the situation, then I'll talk. Less so as before, I'll just keep assessing and do nothing. So I think that's the difference now. So now I don't really let myself overthink things in terms of holding me back to approach it. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go for it. What happens, happens. And I think that's what's made it even easy for me to network in person and go to networking events. I've been to a lot of them these days, and that's even working for me to be successful. I approach people, keep it simple, like, hey, what are you all about? What are you doing? Like, what's your story? Something super simple, not and just overthink it because obviously I could overthink even the line to go talk to somebody in a network event. You could for sure, but no, if you keep it simple, then that's all it is. Because after I start talking to them, then that's it. You're good. Your conversation flows, or you can kind of go with it. But a lot of times, I think what for me was that first couple words, how to start that conversation. I overthought that. How do I approach somebody that I don't know and start a conversation with them? And for me, I'm like, no, I just keep it simple. And then after I did that, I think that helps
I
to
see.
build courage and not feel so stuck in your head when it comes to simple things like that.
Hmm. 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 Interesting. I like that. I like that. So just that simple piece of advice of just like keeping it simple helps kind of get over or alleviate that uncomfortableness to it, you could say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because then I think maybe I'm speaking for myself as an introvert, but I mean maybe a lot of introverts maybe experience this too. But I think it's more of you're in your head too much, and then
Mm.
when you're in your head, you're thinking too much of well, I don't want to be with that person. What they're going to think of me, or what's that going to do, or you're really thinking about that. So you're kind of like a lot of negative speak of kind of in your head of like what will this do, or da 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 da, or you're just overthinking all this could mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
And all that thinking is not going to make you accomplish anything.
Mm.
I, I think I've had more success with my business, Mango Innovation, the past probably year and a half to 2 years
Yeah.
because I've been out of my head now. I'm just doing. I'm less thinking. I still think, obviously, and I analyze and think about things. I still have that in me. It's my nature. I'm a thinker. But when it comes to interaction with people and talking, I just try to just be out there more, especially when it comes in a business setting. Because at the end of the day, were they going to say no or not interested or walk away? Fine, that's fine. I'm not their vibe. That's good. But at least I tried.
Wow. 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 And that was kind of something I wanted to tap into as well. Like, what helps you stay motivated as an entrepreneur, even like on those tougher days?
Yeah, it's hard. It definitely, I will say, there's days when it's hard. I'll even give a story right now, actually. I had a hard August. Part of August, beginning of August was a little hard for me because I lost a client. I lost my first client ever. Never
Wow.
had a client ever ask for a refund, and it took me for a loop. It really took me for a loop. I didn't know, like it threw me off. I was like, what is going on right now? Like I don't know. I guess I was really cocky because I thought I was good at what I did, and I felt like I was good at it. I still think I am good at what I done. I just don't think that was the right flavor for that client.
Sure.
But at the time, it threw me off. it threw off my budget. It threw me off for the whole month. It was kind of just messing my vibe a bit.
Wow.
Um, and I think what really pulled me back in and brought me in and kind of made me want to keep going,
Yeah.
is just seeing other successful people out there, like
Mm.
doing things that I want to do. Like, I want to travel more. I like my toys, cars, things like that. And and I realized, I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, that I wish I was that person, or that's so nice. Oh, I wish I could be that person. Oh, maybe I'll win the lottery and I can be there one day. I don't want to be that guy. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick myself back up. I'm gonna put together some type of action that is gonna move me closer to that goal. Even if it's something as simple as posting on LinkedIn, emailing one of my partners that I do work partner for leads
Mhm.
and see if they have any leads for me. Just doing something to kind of move me closer to that goal of, and achieving those financial goals that I've set for myself. So doing that helped, and then I ended up having a client meeting after that with a new client, and then that call went really well. So then I kind of just reiterated, okay, I am good at what I do, and the client was loving the call. He's like, yeah, I really like what you're saying. This is really what I'm looking for. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I do know what I said. I know what I am. And I took that as also a learning experience because I said, okay, going forward, some of the reasons why I think that relationship failed in terms of even the client even thinking that we do refunds, I need to tweak our contracts. I need to reiterate we do great work. There's value in what we do. And we don't do refunds because we pay our staff right away, our team
Mm.
right away. So I wanted to reiterate and redo our contracts to make that clear. And then I also had a conversation with my mentor, and she also like reiterated that and kind of gave me a little boost of like, hey, this is a setback, but use this setback as like a learning experience. Look what you've already done in changing your business from the setback to avoid any other setbacks like that ever again. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then me and her also talked about that particular client, and we're talking about like the interaction. And she's like, yeah, sometimes you even have clients who do that on purpose. So, just be aware of it. And I was like, yeah, okay. I learned from that, build on that, and keep it going. So I think that's kind of how I am. And usually it takes a lot to kind of throw me off my game, especially when I'm on a momentum.
Mhm.
But yeah, that one did, and I'd say we're definitely bounced. It's end of August, and I'm back up to my chip self again.
Good, good. I'm glad. Do you feel like having those kind of rough, patchy times can like help you in a way?
100%, 100%. I mean, I've had a few of them with my business for sure, and I think part of the reason I'm even where I am now is because of those rough patches. I think the rough patches is what made me be the person I am because I needed to learn how to work through those rough patches. I had to find my motivation, my unbreakable motivation to be like, okay, I don't want to go back to those rough patches. I didn't like who I was then. I don't like what my mind was like then. I don't like that anymore. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy I am now. So I need to learn from those rough patches and learn how not to be there again. How to make sure I don't even get my mental in that. Like how to make sure my mind doesn't even go there. Because sometimes a lot of the rough patches, sometimes it's more mental than anything, because
Interesting.
you're just thinking all these negative things and it's pulling you into that direction. You're not really making the moves that you could to pull yourself out of it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can be simple things. So as more time has gone on, I'm definitely seeing the value in projecting positive energy and um, presenting what you're trying to do to people
Hmm.
because you never know where that energy and that vibe will go.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that a lot more, and it's leads to a lot of interesting conversations of people, meeting interesting people. Maybe it's not directly a lead or a client right this second, but I can feel that eventually that might lead to something, and then might circle back. Who knows, in 3 months from now or whatever, and it could be something that I didn't even expect just because I'm doing these things, right?
Wow. Yeah, I can totally see what you're saying. I can totally see what you're saying.
So
Very,
I think one of my things I like to do is add value.
yeah.
With anybody I meet, at least if I can, at least to try to. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes when you meet really cool people like Michael, it's hard to add value when they bring in all the value. And you're like, I don't know how to add
Hey.
value to what you got. You got too much value. You're giving me all the value. I don't even know what to give back to you. I feel bad. I want to give you value, but honestly, I can't think of anything. Yeah, and then you run into people like that. It doesn't happen often. I mean, most of the time I can find value to add to someone, usually when I'm on the call. Usually I can find some little thing. Usually I try and keep it simple. I try to be like, hey, did you know about this? And I'll share some value to them, or maybe it's just knowledge. But I always try to add value. I think that's important to do. And I think a lot of people these days underestimate that. They're all about making money, keep all the secrets to themselves, don't work with your competitors. At the end of the day, there's so many opportunities out there these days. I think it's more about adding value, and you'd be surprised because who knows, that competitor could be end up becoming your partner.
I never thought of it that way. Interesting. So you don't view competition as a bad thing then?
No, I mean, at first I used to, but now as more time goes by, no, I don't. I've actually had meetings with people who are low-key probably considered my competitor, and I think we've learned from each other.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm not going to give them my client. Obviously not. But other than that, I would definitely I give them advice. They give me advice, and it's vice versa. And I think through those conversations, I've actually gotten value out of it too because I'm willing to share value and ideas and concepts or even things I do with them. They're willing to share it back with me. And I'm learning from them. Oh, yeah, that's a cool way to do something. Oh, that's an interesting process that I never thought of. And then I share the same thing. I'm like, oh, I do this, or I have this partnership, and I'll let you know when it's an opportunity maybe I can you can get into too. You know, so things like that, I think they're all great ways to add value, and you never know. Maybe they come back and be like, you know what, I have this project, it's too big, or it just isn't not a good fit. You want to do it? And then you'll be like, okay, sure.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Wow, wow. I really like what you're saying. And to follow back up on this, like, where do you think, when you're having setbacks and you're succeeding in a way, like, how do you feel about the future in a sense? Like, how do you think going into the future, this is going to affect you for your business?
I think going into the future is going to be pretty crazy. I think I'm eventually going to hit a point where things are just so busy. I'm actually going to have to take a step back and reevaluate certain systems in place.
Sure.
I feel like I'll have to outgrow them, and I'm looking forward to that actually. I'm already starting to future plan for some of those things by bringing certain people in,
Cool.
having certain conversations with people, because I know that eventually I'm going to get to that stage. So I think I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I'm already thinking about the next three moves after I get to that level. But at the same time, I know I'm a little bit of a dreamer. I've been told that by friends and family.
Yeah.
But I like those dreams. I like to have them there, but now I'm a more in the now kind of guy. So I'm trying to figure, okay, what systems things can I do now to achieve the goals down the road? So so you got to think about that. So I'm thinking, okay, my main goals right now is to grow my agency. So what are the steps to do that? Well, that's building the personal brand. That's making great connections, having amazing conversations with cool people, showing my value, and then locking down obviously, and then another thing is locking down clients and doing work with them. So these are all things that I'm thinking about, and then that'll compound eventually get my agency to the level that I want it to be at, where I can do some other cool things. Like I told you about, like I'd love to get into owning businesses that are doing the skilled trades. I'd love to be an owner of some of those businesses, a couple of those. Those are all kind of ideas I have, but I have plans where I might not get to those until later on. And maybe that's more like a 5-year plan, but it's there.
Wow. Wow. Dude, very cool. Very cool. I like what you're saying. And I'd love to jump into more about what you do because we've definitely talked about, the motivations, the stages you spoke on. But I'd love to hear more about like what you do for your business. And from what I'm gathering, just by like looking through your LinkedIn and things like that, you're like making websites for people. Is that right? Or please
That is
correct me.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. So I run an agency called Mango Innovation, and right, Mango Innovation does innovative web design and web development for marketing agencies. We do white label work with them.
Mhm.
Um, and then we work with medium to large businesses where we'll do custom design and development for them. So we really just focus on the custom side of things where we get to really get into a business and understand what their business needs are and implement sites that are there for them. And then for the most part, I would say they're all most of the time are web apps because a lot of times we're adding integrations, places for their teams to manage or themselves to manage their website. So it's really more about building that
Yeah.
site that can make an impact and that they can be used.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it looks like you have some great reviews. You've already been helping out dozens of companies. Like, this is really good, man. Like, how do you feel about making this kind of impact with other people?
I love it. I love it. I love doing web design, web development. I like being part of the team to work on these projects with the client, get to know the client, understand their needs and their wants, their problems, and figure out how we can solve them.
Yeah.
It's really fun because it's like almost like a problem solving for me.
Hmm.
I have this kind of like analogy I have on my LinkedIn when I talk about Lego. Um, and it's funny. I when I was a kid, I used to like to play a lot with Lego,
Yeah.
and I would build. I built a Lego house. It was like a full-on house. It had like a. It was this two-story house. It had like a main floor and a second floor. I built the whole thing, and I loved it because it was the whole idea of taking something from nothing. I literally imagined this thing, and I built it into something, and just like
Wow.
one block at a time. Built it. I built a garage. I even built cars that I could put in the garage. I put it all together. And I like that idea. Yeah, even as an adult now, I think of websites almost like Lego blocks, where I'm just putting everything together, building it together into something that's usable for people. So I think I never really stopped being the builder. I just changed the tools. So instead of using Lego blocks, we're using websites and code and everything, which is very customizable like a Lego block is, right? So um yeah, so I think I would say I'm the web Lego. I'm the
The
Lego
Lego.
builder of websites.
Awesome. That's awesome. I really
Yeah, so
respect that. Uh-huh.
I really love Lego, but unfortunately, I don't have enough space at my home right now because I would love to have more Lego here with me, but I don't have any space. All we have space here is for Lego flowers.
Lego flowers. I like it. I like it. I like that. Wow, man. And I'm just curious to like jump into your background a little bit. Like, where are you originally from?
So I'm in Toronto, Canada. I grew up over here. I grew up in a suburbs called Brampton. If anybody's familiar from, I guess from Ontario, you would know about Brampton. So I grew up in Brampton, which is the suburbs. Um, for most of my life. So I had a suburbs upbringing, lived in a house, backyard, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, when I was in high school, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just loved the idea of it. I loved the idea of being your own boss, building something really cool and special. So for me, it was very much literally. I remember when we had career day. There was one thing teacher asked, like, "What do you want to be?" And I was like, "Nah, I want to be an entrepreneur." Obviously, like you can't just be an entrepreneur. It's not like a job title. But I was like, "Okay, fine. I won't be just an entrepreneur, but I want to start my own business and like I want to be CEO then fine. Like that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be CEO. So like okay, I guess. But like for me, I was like I always wanted to be I wanted to start something and build it from scratch and kind of being part of that. And I was like, I'm gonna find a way to do that. Um, so after I was done high school, I've over the years of friends and family started different businesses. I tried my hat at them. I did a business where we started a website where we was pretty much like a scrapbook. So we tried that idea. Didn't really work out. The team kind of fell apart. That's fine. Moved on to another project. We did a festival where we raised over $250,000 and sponsorship and funding. Did that for 1 year. That was cool. We didn't end up doing it again for another year, but at least I learned a lot. I ended up building a website for that actual project, but I learned a lot about like how to plan an event from scratch. Because when we first did that event, none of us were event planners. We never did an event
Hey,
ever before. And we ended up booking it at a major hall, got the sponsorship, had vendors there, everything. Like literally, we spent a year planning it all out and getting it done. We did our own promo, everything like that. We even did a pop-up. All these things we never knew anything about. But that's what I loved about being an entrepreneur is it's all about learning, and putting a new hat on every time to kind of do it. And then from my perspective, entrepreneurship really all it is problem solving. So
mhm.
we had a problem is we need to start a festival. We knew nothing about it. So what was the solution? Figure it out. Figure out this how to do it. So we literally went on the internet and did crash course on everything. And which was not hard because you just kind of break it down in the steps. So like, well, the first thing is we need to find a venue. Okay, what are the venues? Second step is okay, we need to figure out like what goes into a festival. Well, you need to have vendors and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's figure out who the vendors are. Who's the niche? How do we find these vendors? So then we just started learning the industry and figuring out where these people are and talking to them. We started talking to like event planners for events, started talking to actual sponsors, and just kept going from there. And eventually, we had a whole festival not even knowing how to do it the year before. And now if somebody asks me, could I do a festival again? Yeah, I probably could. Would I? Probably not, because it's a lot of work and stressful. I don't know if I would ever do it again, but at least I know it. Like if I had to do, like if I did a website project for a company who's running a festival, I would have a pretty good understanding of what they need to do, or what step they're at, and probably what they would need from somebody like me, to facilitate that. So I definitely say entrepreneurship is a great way to really expose yourself to new industries, especially ones where you don't even have background. Because I had no background in that stuff.
Mm.
But we just said, let's do it. It seemed like a cool opportunity. We threw ourselves in and we learned it. So I think that's a really cool thing about entrepreneurship is just learning a new industry. Sometimes ones that you may not even know anything about, and see where it takes you. So I've done that. I've also done made part of a vending machine company where we started a vending machine company. Same thing. Didn't know anything about vending machines. Didn't even know how to open a vending machine, how to fix a vending machine, how to fill a vending machine. Knew nothing about them.
Yeah.
What did we do? Went on Google, started Google them. Okay, let's find some vending machine companies. Find a company who we can buy them from. Find out. Then after that, we met with them. They showed us the vending machine. They showed us how to operate one, how to fix one. And then
Wow.
next, thing we're running a whole company where we're actually servicing and fulfilling our own vending machines.
How
Didn't
long did
know
you
anything
do
about
that?
it the year before that.
Wow. How long did you do that for?
So the vending company technically is still ongoing. We're
Really?
actually still kind of doing it in the background, actually. Yeah, we have a new contract that we're doing with it actually right now, in a major city here in Ontario. So it's
Wow.
actually very much ongoing, and we're working on it again. We pivoted from what we were doing before. We were more far out with vending. Now we're more centralized in one big city. So again, all learning experiences because that's something we also learned that with vending, it's all about concentration, less so um, locations. If
Hmm.
you can have a high density of machines in one large metropolitan, it's more logistically friendly for profit and revenue instead
Hmm.
of just being across multiple cities across one area. Because you
Mm.
spend too much time traveling to all of it. So learning experiences that obviously would you learn, right? Because at first you think, oh, that's a great contract, but then after you realize doing it, you're like, it doesn't really make sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you're doing it far apart, when you're concentrated, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I see. But if you're still, if you have like one 50 miles this way, another 50 miles that way, then it's like, why bother?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
gonna,
because you're burning a lot of your profit in just travel. A lot of it's on travel and time, right? Because it might take you like an hour or 2 hours to go to one location, an hour or 2 hours to go to the next location. Um, And then sure that if you have enough machines there that can save you, but still it's a lot of traveling and that's just a lot of fuel and transportation and things like that too, right? So
that makes sense. That makes sense. How, I'm curious, like, how long have you been into this for?
the vending,
Yeah.
I think since 2019.
Oh, wow. So you've been doing it for like 6 years.
Mhm, mhm.
How'd you come up with the idea? Was it like a group of, for you, a group of friends, or like, did you decide to
Yeah,
do it?
me and my friend slash business partner, we kind of fell into it and into an opportunity where the the company that we had cafes actually, so we started off in cafes. We
Okay.
started off in cafes and then from cafes. They asked us, "Hey, would you guys want interested in getting into vending because this vending contract is expiring and we're not like looking to renew it or we like that company." And we're like, you know what? Since we're already there, why not? Let's get into vending. Since we're already buying food anyways from the same food suppliers, it's just that we just buying a different volume of it instead of just buying a couple like boxes of chips when you're buying like 20 boxes of chips. Same
Wow.
thing. So yeah, so then we're like, okay, yeah, we'll be interested in that. So we were like, even though we didn't know nothing about it, we're like, we'll figure it out. So that's what we did. We just figured it out.
Hmm.
Now I'm obviously an expert on vending. If somebody was to ask me, okay, like a lot of questions about vending, I can answer a lot of them because now it's been like 6 years now. I know a lot about it, but yeah.
Wow.
But you could probably throw me in a new industry and probably within a year or so, I'll probably also be an expert and kind of figure it all out.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And like, I'm curious, like, how did this first start for you? Because if when I'm thinking of a vending machine, I'm thinking of the one that's about a little taller than like, I don't know, or like 6 foot tall machine that's like, I don't know, 3 feet wide. And it has like 18 different slots for candies or cookies or whatever. Is that like the type of vending machines you have, or a little bit different?
We started off with like the traditional ones with like the spirals and like
Yeah.
like the 4 or 5 or 6 row 4 or 8 rows across and then the drink ones and all that kind of stuff. We started in that traditional scope.
Okay.
Um, but then eventually we've modernized it and now we've gone 100% digital. Now our machines are like giant touch screens that run advertisement, that have
Really?
activations, and the products are now behind a touch screen, so you don't even see the products, but the machine inside is like refrigerated and everything like that. So
Wow.
the machine's not vending, it's running activations, it's running ads. So it's a full-fledged like marketing machine slash vending machine.
Interesting. You're charging for the ads too?
Yeah.
You say it no so nonchalantly. Like
Yeah, of
pretty much
course.
just like a genius, but it's fine. It's like no big deal.
No, I mean, obviously, I didn't invent the tech. We didn't invent the tech. We
No,
just
no.
saw the opportunity for that, and we saw
Yeah.
that that's where the industry is going, and it's a great way to extra validate vending because at the end of the day, when a vending machine is not selling, it's just sitting there. So why can't it be running activations and ads? So now it's actually
Wow.
doing now it's serving two purposes: feeding people and advertising to them
All at the same time.
all at the same
I
time.
really respect that. I've never seen a vending machine in this area or in my life that has digital screen touch access like that and then also running ads at the same time. Like pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll send you a picture after.
Yeah, please. Please, I'd enjoy that.
Maybe
That's
I'll see if we have even ones with like videos or something like that. I'll see if I have any on my phone. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So for me, it's just trying new things and diversifying. I'm trying not to scatterbrain myself too much because that was also something I used to do a lot of. I was focusing too much on one business over the other. So
mm,
now more of my focus is more on Mango than it is on the vending side.
okay.
Um, so that's where I think that's why Mango's grown so much. That's why I'm having conversations with you, just because my mind's more plugged into that in the digital landscape of that. I like it more. I like it too. It's fun. It's fun to do. The vending one is more of a passion project, whereas like Mango Innovation is like I like this stuff. I love this stuff. This is fun. I like these conversations. I like to sit down and have cool conversation, build really cool things with people. I love this. This is more like Mango's really true to my heart, and I'm so glad it's named Mango Innovation because it really is like something I really do like.
I like that. I like that. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Mhm.
That's cool. That's cool. And I'm curious to dig into a little bit with this, with the whole looking at doing on like not being too scatterbrained. Like for you, like how did you kind of figure out how to focus on mango innovations versus doing the vending?
Funny enough, I was always doing both, but Mango Innovation was suffering for a good chunk of the time.
Wow.
Um, yeah, because I started Mango Innovation. I incorporated Mango Innovation in 2018, but really like launched in 2020. Um, and during the pandemic, I was doing a lot with it because we weren't doing as much during the pandemic.
Mhm.
But after that, prior to that, and then after that, a lot of my focus and time was pulled into the vending. So I would still do a lot for Mango, but it wasn't as aggressive as I wasn't out here networking, going to network events. I was still doing client projects, but more of what came in or how people found us word of mouth, but wasn't really aggressively pushing it or really being out there as much. So I
Mm.
would say Mango suffered from it a lot just because the business wasn't growing as fast and it wasn't getting as much love as I think it needed.
Oh, I see.
Um, so I think now I've switched the script more where I'm like, okay, Mango, I love what Mango can be, I love what it can do, and it's just a fun business that I personally like a lot more. So I'm gonna put more intention to it. And then also the vending, I think we found a new rhythm of how we're doing things where I think it doesn't need to consume as much time as my day as it did before. And also I just don't like the idea of having all my eggs in one basket too.
Sure. No, I can get that. It's kind of like divide and conquer a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely and also like the vending can be very profitable, which I think in the direction we're going, it will be.
Uh-huh.
But I think we're turning it into a system where it can be very easy for us to disconnect from it a bit more.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so we found a new approach to that too. I think that's also one of the cool things I think we in the new iteration that we built is finding how to do that. Um, but then, and because of that, I think that's also just allowed for me to extra focus on Mango, which really needed a lot of my love and care and undivided attention. And now that I'm really giving it, I'm starting to see it really starting to pick up, and more people knowing about what we do and just having really cool, more cool conversations. I think that's the main thing is you gotta kind of have to pick one business, really give it almost your undivided attention, and really pour into it. And then once you pour into it, it starts to pour back and
Okay.
rewarding you.
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. And I'm curious to understand like, how do you approach things normally? Do you like buy the vending machines first, or do you try to build up the clientele first to say like, okay, good, we have like 10 people that are maybe on the fence or maybe are saying yes. Okay, good. Let's invest into a couple of these. Or do you just buy the machines and then build up the clientele afterwards?
It's a little, it's hard to say to answer that question because our situation is a little different because we won a contract. So we already had a set amount and we already knew a set amount of how many locations we kind of would need to facilitate. And then we just kind of got the machines to go in there, like to help us, like we got some financing, we figured out, and we got the machines themselves. So that was kind of our trajectory. It's a little different for everybody. And when it comes to vending, some people buy one machine and two and two, three and four, and they compound on it. And then sometimes if they're aggressive enough, it can be a slow burn and sometimes a faster burn, depending on how fast they can compound in it. But for us, we're more like focused on getting locations, getting the contract, than just filling up a whole bunch of machines. That's our model. Everybody's model is different,
Yeah,
and approach is different, but that's just how we approach it. Um, so I think that's the difference, I guess, between us and others.
got you. No, man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. For your own personal experience, like what did you kind of do? Did you build up your clientele or did you just buy those machines?
No, we got a contract first, and then we got the machines.
Did. Oh, really? Wow. Wow. How did you guys know like how that's really cool. Like how did you know what kind of terms to put into the contract for yourselves?
Oh, my business partner is experienced in contract writing for like they call it like tenders and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's cool. You kind of had someone on your side that was figuring it out.
Yeah, yeah. There's I mean it's an interesting thing for maybe people who are listening to this is if they ever want to is look into government tenders. They're also called RFPs. They're always great places to find opportunities. I'm looking for them for for Mango Innovation because there's even opportunities in RFPs for websites, and that's when governments put it's called RFPs are request for proposal. So literally, it's when they put out a proposal, request for proposal for work, for projects and things like that, or work or services, and then literally businesses can apply to do it. Usually, like they'll tell you what they're looking for. They might even give you an estimate of what they're looking for budget, and then you can apply to it. And if you win that contract, then you get the contract exclusive rights to usually to facilitate the service for that particular government entity. There's also RFPs for large businesses. Large businesses also do RFPs too, surprisingly. So you might find like Microsoft might have RFP. Usually tech companies are not as common for them to do RFPs. It's more business-based companies. So I'm trying to think of another one that might do that. Like maybe like a large garbage company might do RFP if they need something.
An
Um,
RFP is, sorry,
request for proposal.
request for proposal. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll see a lot of larger business organizations. Sometimes they'll do RFPs. Just banks will do RFPs. They'll do those. So like in the bank, it's like, okay, we need to we need like IT company to come in and do a huge, like set up a huge server farm. They might do like RFP for that. Um, Maybe. Depends on like how they do their actual like acquisitions of resources and stuff. But
Yeah.
some businesses they actually do it too. So you can go on these tender and RFP sites and you might just see government agencies and you might even see businesses on there too. So
Hmm.
it's a great way to get work with government and get big contracts. Because sometimes people always wonder like how did that person get a contract for garbage pickup for all of this city?
Yeah, of course.
They probably want an RFP for that. Obviously, there's like requirements for that. That's why sometimes you see bigger companies going for it because sometimes they may ask for financial benefits. Sometimes you have to put out a bond, depending on what it is. So there's obviously like financial requirements when you're going for some of these bigger RFPs. But yeah, it's a cool way to win contracts and get in with bigger organizations or cities and places like that to do work with them, which can be very lucrative because usually they're multiple year contracts. They're not
Oh,
just
wow.
something they're not usually just a one. Usually it might be like a 5 year or 8 year contract, right? So it can be great.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Wow, dude, that's really cool. It's so fascinating to like run across you because I feel like I hit normal, I don't know, just like different kinds of entrepreneurs, but I'm like, wow, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, like like being an entrepreneur is like your full-time income.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
love that. I love that, man. I feel like,
Yeah, it's my full-time jam. It's my full-time commitment to myself, and yeah, it's always a hustle, always a grind.
yeah,
I got bills to pay, I got a mortgage to pay. Um,
good for you.
um,
Good for you.
but family to take care of. But yeah, it's a grind for sure,
Okay.
and I'm just working on it to get to a certain level. I'm still not the financial level where I can be like just chilling all comfortably and everything. Not there yet, but I'm working there, working on getting there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm curious to ask, like, how did you end up contacting, or who ended up contacting the clientele that you have for the vending machines? Like, you said you started off in cafes, so I take it getting a hold of the business owner was like a little different than like a Walmart or something like that.
Yeah, because our cafes were in public spaces.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in public spaces. So we had three of them. So we also won a contract for that. We won like a contract for that. And then we had our machines in cafes and public spaces, and then the same public spaces where we also started to put the vending machines.
Got you.
And we actually, funny enough, then we exited the cafe game because we realized the cafe game was kind of losing money and didn't make more sense, and vending was better. So we like to talk, we like the, the unattended retail over attended retail.
Oh, I see. Because if you have to be there physically, then you're losing money, it sounded like.
Mhm.
Got you. Got you. I'm
Yeah.
curious to know, like, were there any drawbacks to like doing vending machines without having them being attended? Was anyone like breaking the machines or anything like that? Or
Yeah, yeah. There's some locations that we had some crazy people at,
really?
and they would do some crazy things. Like back when we had machines that had glass, they broke the glass, tried to steal like the money, but by that time we did that, we were cashless, so there was nothing in there for them to really steal other than candy. But they were breaking in the machines to look for money, but there was no money in them.
Oh wow.
Um, we had one where somebody literally like tipped over the machine. They got behind it in the wall and they literally tipped it over.
No way.
Yeah, so
How do you
a lot of
deal?
interesting. Hmm?
Yeah. How do you deal with stuff like that?
Oh, well, the facility we had those machines, they had insurance, so their insurance just covered that for
Oh,
us.
really? That's kind of
They-
good.
they- Yeah, they covered the repair of it. Yeah, and then they went and investigated like the people. There's cameras of these places, so they was went and investigated the people who actually were vandalizing the machines and all that kind of stuff. We also have insurance on the machines too, but
Oh, do you really?
yeah, but the actual that where we have them, they have insurance, so they just covered that.
Interesting. Interesting. Do you like, and I'm just curious from your own viewpoint, like in terms of choosing a business model or something to follow through on, which could make some consistent cash, like how do you feel like vending machines are if like someone was like, okay, I want to get into doing entrepreneur work, but I'm not entirely sure what I should do?
Vending can be lucrative, but it has a high capital expense to get into that a lot of people talk about. Because you want to also buy good vending machines. Vending machines are just like cars. You can buy the cheap ones, but then they will break down and they will have issues, and then obviously that's costing you money and also like customer confidence. So you want to be careful of that.
Yeah.
So then you may want to buy a more expensive one, but then the more expensive one are more expensive. That you can be spending like $10,000 per machine. Now, if
Serious?
you, yeah, yeah, or more, or more. There's some machines you can be spending like 15 to 20,000 per machine.
Wow.
So you're spending a lot on just the machine, and that's not even before you make any money. And then you also have to buy inventory to put in the machine. So you can be spending, I don't know, like $300 to $400 just on the inventory to go in the machine. Now, obviously, you'll make back the money on the inventory, potentially, but there's also potential you couldn't. And then it's called, we have like spillover, and expired stuff where literally the product expires in the machine. And eventually you have to pull it out because you can't be selling expired product to customers.
Right, of course.
So my suggestion, usually if someone's going to get into vending, is to probably try and find good vending locations before you even buy the machines,
Oh wow.
because you could end up putting yourself in the debt before you start the business, because you can go buy a whole bunch of machines and have nowhere to put them, and then it's just sitting there and not making you money because they're sitting in your garage. They're not making you money. They're just sitting there. You're losing money. And then if you do find a location, you also want to find locations of high traffic, because you could put your machine in a barber shop, which obviously at first is like, oh, yeah, I might probably make money, but you may not because the barbershop may not have a high enough turnaround that it might take you like a year to sell all the inventory, and most likely in a year, a chunk of your inventory might be expired by then.
Oh,
So you might
wow.
have to throw a good chunk of it out, so you could actually still end up losing money. So vending is very much location based. If you can find great locations, it can be very lucrative because then obviously you can have high turnaround on your inventory where you just cycle through it so quickly. Then yeah, then you're making money, and then yeah, then it starts to pay for the machine that you bought, and the return on the investment can be very quick on that. But it's very much location based. Like if you can get like if you can put your machine in like an airport in a prime location airport, yeah, you can make a lot of money and very quickly. Probably be refilling that vending machine probably once a day.
Wow.
Now, you could also put your vending machine in a mall, and you could actually lose money because the mall might put you near the washrooms in a dark corner, and it may be a corner that a lot of people go to because also malls usually have mini washrooms, so you may not get as much traffic as you want.
Hmm.
So then, at first, it's like, oh, I'm in the mall, I'm gonna make a lot of money, and you may not. You may only make like $100 a month. That doesn't really cover your costs if you want to make $100 a month, right?
Wow. Okay.
And in some locations, they even charge you rent.
Seriously. Okay.
Yes. Some locations they may charge you rent, or they may even want profit share because you're using their space. So they may actually want profit share too. So there's also that too. So you could be paying profit share on every dollar that you make, which is always good. If a profit share is fine, if the location is very lucrative, you make a lot of money, then profit share is fine.
Okay.
So these are all factors I think people need to think about when going into vending. It can be very lucrative, but you need to be aware of the capital expense and you need to be aware of the location you're dropping the machine because those two alone can literally bankrupt a vending machine company before they even start.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Pretty insightful, man. This is cool. Awesome. Thanks for being so like transparent about the whole thing too. I had no idea the world of vending machines.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I know a lot about vending, know a lot about websites. I'm a man of multiple hats.
I like I like it. I like it. And I respect it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm just trying. I like to try different things, learn new things all the time. And I think learning is power, and I always like to learn. So, and
Yeah.
I'm not scared to ask questions. And I think that's what's been a huge driver of my success, and also just going into new industries is asking questions. Um, I think that's really important. I think a lot of people are scared to ask questions because they think it makes them seem like they're not an expert or they don't know anything. But I think question asking is very important. Whenever I have client meetings for Mango Innovation about websites and stuff, I always ask a lot of questions to the client.
Mhm.
It because one, I consider them the expert in their industry, so I want to learn as much as I can about their industry and everything about them, so I can figure out how I can help them, figure out what their problems are, what their issues are. So I mean, like, if the client doesn't like me asking a lot of questions, I think they're not the right fit for me because after today, I'm like, why wouldn't you want me to ask these questions? This is me trying to really understand you, make
Mm.
sure we're doing something that you feel like we're doing to help your business or your organization. So. I think asking questions is very key and should never be slept on.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, it kind of gives you more confidence in the direction you want to head, right? Because if you know about their industry and what they're doing, then that puts you in a better position to like, oh, I want to use this. I want to use this instead of, do I want to do that or not that?
Yeah, yeah, because some experts will jump into the call and they'll just start telling the client, well, this is what you are, this is what you need, this is what you're all about. And then some people like it because like, oh my gosh, he knows me so bad, well, better than I do. Great, 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 great. And sometimes that works and that's fine if that's the direction you want to go. It's not per se my style, but some people like that. But for me, I'm more of like ask questions and then I give feedback and give advice or give thought, but I like to ask questions first, get to know them, know what they're all about, what they're trying to achieve before I throw something at them.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that. Cool, man. Well, I definitely want to make sure people can reach out to you. So here is your LinkedIn page. And then all they have to do is go over just to book an appointment right there. And then they have a 30 minute. So networking, 30-minute meeting, Mango Innovation intro meeting. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so they can just jump in there, book a call with me,
Yeah.
and love to hear from them. We'll get to know more about them, business. Doesn't even need to be per se about wanting to work with Mango, could also be networking and picking each other's brains and business ideas. I'm always down to network with people. So I got that 30 minutes there, always down to network.
I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, cool, brother. Excellent talking with you. Really enjoyed this episode, and I thought your viewpoints on a lot of these things was very insightful. I respect you for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed the call on the podcast. I look forward to seeing it out there, and hopefully
Yeah,
maybe I'll be on another episode in the future.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
All right.
Awesome, brother. Well,
All
sweet.
right.
Have a good rest of your night, and I'll look forward to getting this out to you.